Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
You can go down and do the...
We've got several groups to recognize tonight, and I'm going to switch the schedule up just a little bit and ask the Dorchester Road Senior Center members to come down and give their presentation first.
Want to switch with, yeah, switch her over there. Yeah, Donna wants to be over there. All right, come on. Just get to a spot. Good evening, Council. So we are the Senior Center at Dorchester Road, and Revolution Therapy and Fitness came to me back in January and was like, hey, we have a new idea for a new class at the Senior Center. So active adults, 50 plus, and we actually started it, and they're like, hey guys, we want to go on tour. So tonight is our fourth stop. Yesterday we were in Columbia. We played at the Senior Expo here in North Charleston, MUSC, and the governor's office was there, and they saw us and were like, hey, would you like to come to Columbia? And so my group here was like, let's go. So we just want to show you what we're doing, and we played at the Children's Festival, and we're just going to show you what we're doing and add a little excitement tonight and enjoy.
you very much for that. It was very obvious that everybody in the group was having a good time. So thank you again.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
All right, at this time, I'd like to call down Ms. North Charleston, Ms. North Charleston Teen, Ms. Low Country, and Ms. Low Country Teen. Hello, ladies. How are y'all tonight? All right, so I'm going to do my best to match all this up, so y'all got to help me out just a little bit. All right, so our first young lady is Ms. North Charleston Teen, Riley Ray. She is 16 years old and currently a junior at Lawrence Manning Academy. She is a member of the National Honor Society, Anchor Club, and an honor student. Riley is a competitive dancer for Carolina Dance Academy and is placed in the top 5 in the solo division at 5 regional competitions this season. At 13 years old, she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which inspired the making of her personal platform. A1, See Me, raising awareness for type 1 diabetes and advocating to find a cure. I'd like to present this plaque on behalf of North Charleston to Ms. Riley Ray, Ms. Teen, North Charleston. Ms. Low Country. Ms. Low Country, Morgan Elvis is a 10th generation local of the Low Country area. Morgan is the founder of HELP, a commitment to survivors' rights and advocacy, an organization dedicated to fighting for recourses, education, and rights for survivors of crime, crisis, and circumstance. She is excited to have the opportunity to represent her home and speak on the topic most important to her at the Miss South Carolina competition this June. Again, Ms. Low Country, Morgan Elvis. Ms. Low Country Teen 2019. Representing the Low Country as Ms. Low Country Teen is Catherine Lieberstein. Catherine is a 16-year-old and a junior at Somerville High School. She is born and raised in Somerville, and her personal social impact initiative is Choose Me. Adopted as the best breed, she hopes to continue promoting animal adoption statewide as she goes on to compete in the Miss South Carolina Teen competition this summer. Ms. Low Country Teen, Catherine Lieberstein. And last but not least, Ms. North Charleston. Ms. North Charleston Lee Hervexia is 18 years old and a senior at South Carolina Whitmore School. Lee is a stage 5 endometriosis survivor and strives to raise awareness for this disease. In the future, she plans to attend college at the University of South Carolina, go Gamecocks, and obtain a degree in psychology to later become a clinical counselor. Again, Ms. North Charleston, 2019. Would any of you ladies like to say a brief word or two? Anybody?
Thank you guys so much for having us today. We really appreciate it and all the support that North Charleston City gives us. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations to you all. At the first council meeting of every month, it's a tradition here at North Charleston to welcome all the new employees that are starting with the city. And, you know, the mayor always points out the importance of this exercise. Not only is it important for you to be recognized by the council, but for you to also recognize who the council and the mayor is for the leadership of the city. At this time, I'm going to call up the new employees and ask them to stand up front here. From the police department, Kendra Howell, Stephanie Tucker, Alexander Bailey, Gwendolyn Brazelton, Connor Fogarty, Casey Williams. From the fire department, Anthony Saracini. From code enforcement, David Balser. From the building department, Clarence Gibson. From public works, Clinton Brown. Dominique Towns. And Kenneth Giraz. Folks, on behalf of the city of North Charleston, the mayor and city council, we welcome you to be part of our city. We look forward to the contributions that you make to our entire community, and thank you for your service. At this time, if you'll turn around and look at the council and the mayor who snuck in here at the last minute. I'm almost done now, Mayor. But again, thank you guys for joining our team, and we look forward to great things from all of you. Thank you very much. And as the mayor likes to say, you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. At this time, I'm going to call on our fire chief. He has a presentation for us this evening.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, it's my pleasure to be here tonight and present what we think is really an extraordinary recognition, and I'll provide some information on that. On the afternoon of March 18th, 2019, emergency units were dispatched to a reported drowning on Clara Lane, which is near Midland Park Road in North Charleston. North Charleston Fire Department, North Charleston Police Department, and Charleston County EMS units rushed to the scene. As units were responding, the dispatcher provided updated information that the victim was a 3-year-old female who was found unresponsive in a swimming pool. A North Charleston Fire Department squad crew arrived on the scene first and found the child on the deck of the pool. A teenager was performing CPR. The squad crew took over patient care and found that the child had a pulse, however, she was not breathing. The squad crew cleared the airway with suctioning, and the child started breathing. The squad crew then placed her on high-flow oxygen. A Charleston County EMS ambulance arrived on scene and transported the child to MUSC. The squad crew then spoke with the residents who were at the house. They included the child's grandmother and the teenager who performed CPR. That was 14-year-old Kimberly Bradley. The grandmother said that Kimberly, or Kim, sometimes assists with babysitting. That afternoon, the grandmother screamed when she saw her 3-year-old granddaughter in the pool. Kim immediately ran out of the house and jumped in the pool to rescue the child. Kim brought the child out of the pool and began performing CPR until the squad crew arrived. Were it not for her immediate actions, the child would have almost certainly drowned. Instead, the child was discharged from the hospital 2 days later and is doing fine. Our medical coordinator, Dean Hatchell, reviewed this incident and nominated Kimberly Bradley for the Civilian Award, as her quick action and initiation of CPR was instrumental in saving the life of this child. Kimberly Bradley did not hesitate to help another citizen of North Charleston. She exhibited great courage, extraordinary decisiveness, and presence of mind to save a life. And at this time, I'd like to ask our medical coordinator, Dean Hatchell, to come up, as well as our Explorers Coordinator, Engineer Petak, Deputy Chief Stephanie Jalazada, and also Kimberly Bradley, who is here with us tonight. Kim, what you did was extraordinary, and I am very pleased to present to you the Chief Citizens Award in recognition of your courage and performance in giving life-saving aid to another. I'd just like to add also that Kim has joined our Explorers group, and that's a group that helps expose young people to a career in the fire service. And I hope that after she graduates from high school, that she'll be one of the new employees that we recognize at this council chambers in the future. Thank you very much.
I don't know. Please do. It was just on my desk.
I guess I would just expect others to do the same thing for me as what I did for that little girl that day. And I do plan on eventually working for the fire department and serving North Charleston and fighting for citizens' lives and helping out the innocent.
I'd just like to apologize for being late. Well, not really. My only 6-year-old granddaughter had a little presentation and a dance recital tonight. She was the 18th one. It started at 6. Ran a little over, but I figured y'all could handle it till I got here. Thank you.
Is there someone here to accept the proclamation for Water Safety Month? If not, we may have the date wrong, and we'll hold off until we have someone to give it to. Sound good?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to recognize one other person before we get into our normal routine of our meeting. But this is our clerk of council's last meeting, Ms. Ellen Clark. She is retiring and leaving us, and I'd like to thank her for her service and wish her the best of everything in the future and in her retirement. So thank you for everything.
Thank you very much, Janet. Thank you.
And with that, we'll proceed with the printed agenda. First up is the
Back
meeting
to
minutes
work.
from the April 25th
This is
meeting.
my part.
I got you. I was trying to replace you already.
Not even gone yet. The first item is a request to approve the minutes from the April 25th special public hearing.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams is not here, is she? Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King? Aye. Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy? Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I know he's here. Item 2 is a request to approve the minutes from the April 25th, 2019 regular city council meeting.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Oh, Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I don't know what order to go in now. Item 3 is the final reading of an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of not exceeding $15 million of aggregate principal, lost my way, amount limited obligation bonds, tax increment pledge, Series 2019, for the purposes of defraying the cost of certain infrastructure improvements, fixing the form and details of the bonds, limiting the payment of the bonds from the sources provided herein, providing for the disposition of the proceeds thereof and other matters relating thereto.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds? Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 4 is the final reading of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents related to the leasing of 30 parking spaces at the North Charleston Coliseum to CHS Charleston LLC for the purpose of overflow parking for the new hotel on Montague Avenue.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds? Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 5 is the final reading of an ordinance well, it didn't move. Hang on a second. All right. Oh, it didn't move forward. I'm sorry. Hang on one second. There we go. Item 5 is the final reading of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary and appropriate to grant a stormwater drainage access and temporary construction easement agreement to Harborstone LLC and RNS Properties of South Carolina for access and stormwater drainage across 2 detention ponds.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds? Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King? Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 6 is the final reading of an ordinance accepting Winnowing Way, Commodity Way, and portions of Brandishing Road, Roseberry Street, Fanning, Basket Lane, and Transplanter Circle into the city system for maintenance and abandoning a portion of a 20-foot wide drainage easement.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King? Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 7 is the first reading of an ordinance rezoning, proposed to rezone the property addressed as 2020 Little Avenue, Charleston County TMS 46616, Lot 072, from R1 Single Family Residential to B2 General Business, and a concurrent amendment to the comprehensive plan's future land use map designation for the same parcel, changing it from single-family traditional to major business retail in Council District 10.
Good evening, all. As we just heard, we have a rezoning for 2020 Little Avenue. The existing zoning is R1 Single Family Residential, and the proposed rezoning request is for B2 General Business, and that is in Council District 10. There you have an aerial view of the property along Little Avenue, and a zoomed out view of the property there where it sits on Little Avenue, close to the intersection with Sproul. The proposed rezoning request is to rezone the property from R1 Single Family Residential, shown there as light yellow on the map, to B2 General Business. And the rezoning request would require an amendment to the future land use map and the comprehensive plan, amending that from single family traditional to major business retail, designated in red. The subject parcel is located in the Union Heights neighborhood on Little Avenue at the very southern end of the city between Meeting Street Road and Sproul Avenue. The applicant is applying for rezoning from R1 to B2, which would allow redevelopment of the site into a number of commercial uses. The comprehensive plan's future land use map establishes a future land use for the parcel as single-family traditional and would require an amendment to major business to support the rezoning. As the property is in a single-family neighborhood with all of the adjacent parcels zoned R1 and the change is not supported by the comprehensive plan, staff has recommended denial and the planning commission has also recommended denial.
Are there any questions from council?
Please indulge me. I'm just looking here to make sure my computer is accurate in the page we're on and the title, subtitle. Number 8. You said,
You're off one.
Yep, we're on 7.
We're on 7.
okay, that's why I wanted to make sure. Thank you. No questions.
No questions? Hearing none, it'll be referred to committee, which will meet next Thursday at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Item 8 is the first reading of an ordinance rezoning the property addressed as 6632 Ward Avenue, Charleston County, TMS 4750600, Lot 2, from R2 multifamily residential to M1 light industrial, and a concurrent amendment to the comprehensive plan future land use map designation for the same parcel, changing it from redevelopment priority to light industrial in Council District 6.
Okay, we have a rezoning request at 6632 Ward Avenue. The existing zoning is R2 multifamily residential, and the proposed zoning is to M1 light industrial, and this is in Council District 6. There you have an aerial view of the property at 6632 Ward Avenue, and a zoomed out version of the property you can see there along Ward Avenue. The proposed rezoning request is to rezone the property from R2 multifamily residential, shown there in the orange on the map, to M1 light industrial, which is the light purple. And the rezoning would require a map amendment to the future land use map within the comprehensive plan, changing that designation from redevelopment priority, shown there in the red, to light industrial, shown in that light purple color. The subject parcel is located in the Midland Park area on Ward Avenue, across from the Jet Industrial Park and the Charleston International Airport. The applicant is applying for a rezoning from R2 to M1, which would allow development of the site for construction business, warehousing, and other light industrial uses. The property meets the size requirements for M1 zone parcels, and the comprehensive plan's future land use map would require an amendment to light industrial to support the rezoning request. The parcel to the south and the parcels across Ward Avenue have industrial zoning and uses which would be compatible with the requested rezoning. Based on the industrial nature of the nearby uses and the size of the parcel, staff has recommended approval, and the Planning Commission has also recommended approval of the rezoning.
Is there any questions from council?
Now I'm on the right page. Do we have a list or classification for what redevelopment priority is, as this is a lot of land for redevelopment priority?
Yes, sir. No, we
So-
do not have corresponding uses at this time. We are looking at that as we amend the update, update the comprehensive plan, but there is not a correlation
So-
between
So with the
residential.
potential updating, which is coming this year, what, August?
We hope to have a
sooner?
draft in August or sooner. Yes, sir.
Or are these things that we may need to defer before we start digging into this and setting precedents?
I think when we looked at the neighborhood, we thought industrial is appropriate for the area, so we weren't looking to defer at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, it'll be referred to committee, which meets next Thursday at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
The last item on the agenda is the first reading of an ordinance adopting a bill to be entitled An Annexation Ordinance of the City of North Charleston, annexing an area known as 53A in Charleston County, TMS 40407000170, 4847 Popperdam Creek Drive in Council District 1.
Move approval. Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison? Yes.
That's a first reading.
First
Oh,
reading.
I'm sorry.
Yes, it's a first reading of an
Yeah, so we vote on it.
annexation
Yeah.
ordinance, so we vote on
We
it.
vote on it.
Good job, Mayor.
I was moving forward.
It's not a rezoning, it's,
Yeah, you got us.
okay. Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King? Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy? Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Motion for the first reading carries unanimously. And that's all I have on the agenda.
Does council have anything else they'd like to bring up at this time? Mr. Mayor?
I would just again like to thank the clerk for his service to the city.
Thank you.
And we're going to miss you. And I think in the interim, we've got a young lady, Miss Julie's going to be covering it until we hire, the council hires a new clerk. And so, wish you Godspeed and have a great retirement.
Thank you,
All of
Mayor.
us up here except maybe Bob looks forward to that someday.
Thank you all very much.
With no other business, the meeting is adjourned.
You're welcome.